Hi everyone, and welcome to our first English language video blog. We are the Desperate Writers and we are very happy to greet you here. Desperate Writers is basically my own blog that I share with my friend, and together with my friend we are using it to store our texts which do not relate to our jobs or to our work, and basically the ones that we created as a reaction to theater shows, to music, to some albums, and so on. So I always wanted to have it, and that was my dream. So I was very happy that I fulfilled it. Up until now, we mostly had just the Russian language part of our blog. So we both write in Russian mostly. So if you know Russian, if you can speak Russian, can read Russian, please follow the link below. I am posting it here. And I've also created a brand new English part of our website where I've posted a couple of my texts in English. So there's not much there, but all of our video blogs will be posted here, and so I'm posting the link here as well. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to introduce myself, to say hi. My name is Katya, and I am Russian, as you can hear from my accent, so I apologize for that. I hope you can understand me well. I'm Russian originally, of course, but I've been living abroad for many years, for almost 20 years right now. And right now I am teaching at one of Canadian universities, and I'm teaching Russian language and Russian cultural courses. And in my spare time, which is summertime, of course, I try to write as much as I can, and I also make these video blogs or podcasts. I like to call them podcasts, even though I know that technically they are not podcasts, but let's say these are video podcasts. So I would like to make a series of observations based on my PhD thesis that I wrote years ago, so almost 9 years ago right now. And I think many of you know this feeling that when you are working on a major thing for a lot of time, you at a certain moment you just cannot bear to look at your own text, or whatever you are working on. So that was my case. I really couldn't look at my dissertation after I defended it. But now the time has passed, and I feel that I can look at this and I can reinterpret some things that I've observed. And what's even more important, I thought that I can turn this academic text that obeys, certain rules. I could turn it into more fun and more accessible, podcasts, more accessible videos. I don't know, but whatever we can call it. My dissertation was on the figure of a medical practitioner in Russian literature. I was writing about the 19th century Russian literature, and I was mostly using the materials, the novels and stories, the fiction that you probably would know even if you read some Russian novels, because I was mostly exploring the mass literature of that time, and the majority of my sources was published in the literary journals, like something equal to like Blackwood's magazine, for example. And I was really astonished to find some very interesting things about the way the doctors were perceived and the way they were depicted in that time, and not just in Russian literature but in European literature as well. So because I had to, of course, to look at a broader picture, and I had to explore Victorian literature and French literature, German literature of the 19th century as well. So I have lots of observations, and excluding the ones that I actually didn't include into the dissertation, to the final draft. So I would love to share it, because I think that first of all, right now, especially 10 years ago, when the medical shows, TV shows were so popular and it was on everyone's mind, like Grey's Anatomy, ER, House MD, and so on. I think it is quite fascinating that people are so interested in this, with this very specific profession. And on the other hand, it's interesting to just by looking at the way that doctors were depicted in Victorian times or in the 19th century, we can say quite a lot about I would say the common consciousness of people of that time, and by just studying the certain traits that these doctors exhibit, or by looking at the superstitions that people had regarding medicine, and so on. Yeah, so I hope it will be enjoyable. Why am I doing this? Because as I already mentioned, I have this habit of writing, and I also like discussing things with people, and that's why I love teaching so much. I love talking to my students, and I love when there is some feedback from my listeners or from my audience, and I love dialogue. Yeah, I think in dialogue we get much more details and much more nice observations. So I really hope that you will participate, so it won't be just me talking, but we'll chat about these topics. And I'm gonna switch to the audio format, so you won't be seeing my face a lot here. It's just just to say hi right now. And without further ado, let's start. Thank you. I would like to start with a little quotation from the paper dedicated to George Eliot's Middlemarch. I came across it while I was doing my research. It was written by Patrick McCarthy, and it is about doctors as major characters in Victorian fiction, and how they, in this capacity, were perceived by the reading public. So here it goes. Doctors as doctors clearly did not make good copy for 19th century novelists, and if a writer dared to make a doctor's personal life and medical activity the center of a work, he risked being handled roughly by reviewers. This was the case with Harriet Martineau's Deerbrook from 1839, which Sidney Smith scornfully referred to as the loves of a apothecary. A medicinal lover, he suggested, would not do. If he took his mistress's hand, he would feel her pulse by force of habit. If she fainted, he would have only absent souls. So this quotation, in a nutshell, gives us this attitude of a reading public, of critics of the mid-19th century towards doctors, or to be more precise, towards the physicians as major characters, as protagonists in the novels. Which is, of course, from our point of view, it doesn't make any sense, because our popular culture cultivates the figure of a doctor. Starting from all these TV series that we know and love, like ER with George Clooney and Sent Elsewhere from the 80s, to the world famous House MD, a very important show for my own research, but I think also for many people, especially actually a Russian audience. Also, The Good Doctor, Grey's Anatomy, and so on. Yeah, so we love all those shows. Thanks to them, we are now aware of so many things in the life of medical practitioners, even if we are not a part of the medical community. Yes, we know what doctors talk about during their shifts. We know what they think about. We know about their different relationship. We also know what is lupus. So I don't know if you remember but that was the catchphrase from House MD. So we are all enchanted by House's atrociousness, touched by the social awkwardness of John in Good Doctor, and we are worried for Grace because of her hard working conditions and because her colleagues do not treat her fairly. Yeah. And it's interesting, again, if we compare, our time and the 19th century, we might ask a question, as Patrick McCarthy puts it: why is that the physician as hero does not make his appearance in British fiction before 1871, so that when we are introduced at Mr. Brooke's dinner to Tertius Lydgate, the young surgeon, he is as new to us as Lady Chatham says he is to her. In that age of scientific and medical advance, we surely might have expected earlier to meet a hero whose claim to our attention is that he is a doctor. Why do doctors as doctors take so long to become serious characters? So this question and this intrigue was one of the major influences of my own research. I started by exploring Russian doctors of the early 19th century because I noticed that although they were quite prominent in the plots and quite important for the plots, their roles were never upgraded to the status of a protagonist. Yeah, so they were always somewhere in the background. I noticed that they often had no names and they would be addressed as the doctor, just doctor. And finally, I noticed that their professional skills were often interpreted as supernatural powers, or they were just, supernatural beings, wizards, sorcerers, or even devils incarnates. So this was a starting point for me, and I explored it for quite a while, and I was still back in Moscow studying there, and I wrote my diploma on a number of actually quite well-known doctors. Then after that I actually started looking more broadly, and I started looking at less known literature, at the mass literature, which was mostly published in literary journals, which were very popular at that time in Russia as well as in Europe, of course, that you probably know. And there was an equivalent of Blackwood's magazine in Russia, which was called Library for Reading, and it was probably the most powerful source for me. If you think about Russian doctors, you will probably remember Chekhov. Yes, Anton Chekhov, he was a doctor himself, and he wrote about doctors a lot. But in fact, I actually take a step backward and I explore what was happening before that, what led to what was the tradition, the literary tradition and the medical tradition as well, that led us to Chekhov and to from other cultures, William Carlos Williams. Yes, how did doctor become the center of the plot? How did they become the protagonists? When they were allowed, yes, to be the protagonists, and when did the reading public actually come to peace with the fact that they can be a protagonist. I'll do a series of podcasts, probably 10 to 15 minutes each. And I will be drawing my materials both from Russian as well as from English, German, French, and other European literatures of the 19th century. And we will be talking about different situations in which fictional doctors find themselves, and how these specific traits inform the overall development of literature, and what can we say about this particular time just by looking at how the doctors were perceived, because I argue that we can tell quite a lot about that time and maybe about this writer. This series, these episodes of my podcasts, they will be only loosely connected. I didn't want them to be like again like my dissertation. I wanted them to be again fun talks. So, but they will all be about doctors and medicine in literature. So next time we're going to talk a little bit about the humble beginnings of the fictional doctors in modern times, like starting from the 19th century. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the way the romantic writers saw them and the way they used them for their plots. And I just wanted to show how important they were, even though, again, as I already said, as I already mentioned, they were almost never the protagonists of the plot. So, and we will also talk a little bit about the mythological roots and the superstitions that that were linked to the figure of Doctor. So please stay tuned. I hope you liked this little video, and if you liked it, please help me to share it with the rest of the world, and please share it with your friends. And other than that, see you next time. Bye.